Hi, you with Julian on the Brown Note. We haven't been down this road in a while. It's quite exciting. A review of the movie Beast, directed by Baltazar Kormakur from Iceland. I don't know many of his films, but two of them I do, which is Two Guns. That was passable. And Everest I really liked, actually, about the mass death event that happened on Mount Everest. I thought that was an underappreciated film. It did come out in the box office. It actually made money. I thought this was a streaming film, to be honest. It stars Idris Elba as a guy he was separated from his wife in America, I guess. I didn't pay that much attention to it, to be honest. He's separated from his wife just before she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He's got two teenage daughters that both blame him for not being there as she died. He's taken them to a South African game reserve to build bridges with them and meet his friend Shalto Copley, who is a magnificent actor, a South African actor from District 9, Elysium. Unfortunately chappy, but he turns up in lots of films and he's always brilliant. And the opening shows poachers in the game reserve killing every lion in this pride apart from a very large male who then becomes the Jaws character. Trust me, this is closer to Jaws 4 than Jaws 1. And Jaws 4 had a heap of laughs and is an essential view. This doesn't have any. So they go through the game reserve and then they're trapped. And a large chunk of this film is essentially the bit in Jurassic Park where the two kids are in the Jeep and the T-Rex is attacking it. That's like a third of this film. So this lion's gone on a rampage and is killing everyone and is coming after them too. That's the whole film. That is really it. Now, you should thank me for watching Beast because you don't have to watch it. I only finished it because I review films. Otherwise, there is no way I would have sat through this. There is an enormous amount wrong and nothing right here. The acting is pretty bad. I thought the Shalto Copley he's always great, but they set him up and then they just don't do anything with his character. They leave him sitting in the background. And he shows what a good actor he is in the fact that he can actually take this dire material and still give you a humanized performance. But once we get to the halfway stage, he's barely there at all. And then they just ditch him. Idris Elba is really rote here, really perfunctory. I thought the two girls, Ayana Halley and Leah Sava, were cringe-inducingly bad. There were moments where they could act, and there were many moments where their acting was shocking, like not to the standard that you would release in a film. I actually gave a passable review to the Lion film with Meg Fox in it a couple of years back, which got like absolutely annihilated by critics, and partially because of the terrible CGI of the lion. I thought that film wiped the floor with this. I mean, this doesn't even, it's like they got a car park lot version of the African savannah. Because at least in the Meg Fox film, there are these beautiful waterfalls and this widescreen colour. And you got the sense of the, the African wilderness and animals. And this feels like they're just driving around this quarry pit. Nothing's really pretty to look at all. The relationships between the characters is as trite as it comes. They're not happy with their dad, and he's trying to build bridges. Seems to be the story. The CGI of the lion here is actually very well done, but I would say it's very well done if you're watching a computer game. There's a disconnect between the lion and people, which makes me feel like I'm watching a really well done computer game. There's nowhere near the cringe of the Meg Fox film on regards to the CGI of the lion, but the purpose of the whole endeavour is so weak. I mean, at one point it threw up notions of Liam Neeson's The Grey, and it doesn't want to do that when Idris Elba's trying to take this beast on one-on-one. and I was just thinking how much better the Grey is than this. There is nothing at all that is memorable about this film or that is even done well. And it doesn't even have the good grace to be bad enough that you can find it entertaining. It actually stops. It's like it's bad enough just above the point where it would get entertaining again by how awful it was. Right, moving into the realms of Wicker Man or music, or one of those films I've actually really enjoyed. It's very boring. It takes a long time to get going. The acting and writing is shockingly poor, and the point of it all is just zero. It's like they sort of like say there are poachers and game reserves, and that's the effect on the lion, and they don't really pursue anything. It's just like this lion attacking them in a car for a bit, which, I mean, if it didn't have such a big budget and Idris Elba in the driving seat, you would expect this to be made for a pittance. So I thought this was a remarkably bad film. Because there's nothing that I thought stood out. It wasn't any gnarly scenes as well that I thought were particularly interesting. So it's been a long time in between drinks, but Beast I saw so you don't have to, and for no merit in any direction of filmmaking. For the first time in a while, I'm going to give Beast a 0 out of 10.